Ayo, welcome to Storycraft Studio. Today we're starting a series inspired by the Celtic Zodiac. This video is late for reasons that have been resolved, so don't worry about it. Not a great way to start off the year, but here we go. To start, I'm going to use real photos I took myself and some I got online. I'll link the sources below. And then blend them to death. But first, we have to remove the background and figure out how the general placement will be. So, I stumbled on the Celtic Zodiac a few years back and got curious. How many cultures have zodiacs? Answer, 4. The Greek, the Chinese, the Celtic, and the Native Americans. If you look it up yourself, you'll find ones for the Egyptians, Hindu, and a few others. But looking deeper, I found they were really just reinventions of the Greek zodiac. Like, one of the sites fully admitted that the Egyptian zodiac was the Greek zodiac, but with the Egyptian gods replacing the star signs. Sounds cool! You can say which god is your birth patron, but design-wise, not super inspiring for me. The Native American zodiac is, as should be expected, animals. I seriously considered doing some designs for that, but then I looked at my hand and realized, nope, I'm too white for that. I could absolutely do the research to figure out culturally appropriate outfits, symbolism, and deeper meaning of the signs, but that's a lot of research for a series only like 3 people are gonna watch. Let's be real here. But in the end, I went through with the Celtic Zodiac because it's part of my ancestry. For this next step, I'm sending the cutouts through my photo editor. I'll color adjust and then send them through a filter to simplify the shading to something I feel comfortable imitating. Note, in this clip I did the doll, hawk, and rock as one unit. But when I went to color I realized that wouldn't work, so I doubled back and did them all in different pieces. Back to the zodiacs. The Celtic Zodiac presented an interesting situation. There are 2 versions, the tree and the animal. I thought about giving the people features from the animal zodiac, but I forgot on this one. That actually works in my favor because the 3rd animal is a snake and I was not looking forward to wading through snake pictures to make the tail. Reptiles and amphibians make me uncomfortable. I'm sorry. One of my earliest ideas for this series was to make a frame like tarot cards, possibly even make a back one day. Here I'll be using these gold Celtic knots to build the frame. It should have been a quick, simple thing, but I don't know how to do that, so it's complicated. Which is clearly the perfect time to talk about this sign. The first in the Celtic tree zodiac is the Birch tree, called the Achiever. It goes from December 24th to January 20th. I just barely managed to post it in the right time frame, I'm sorry. Anywho, their animals are the stag and golden eagle, their gem is rock crystal, which I made sure to include in the frame, and their color is white. According to my research, if you were born under the Birch sign, then you are cool-headed and a natural-born ruler, often taking command when a situation calls for leadership. When in touch with your softer side, you also bring beauty in otherwise barren spaces, brighten up a room with your guile, and charm crowds with your quick wit. You're also compatible with vines and willows. The birch was considered important to the Druids because it was the first to regain its leaves after the winter solstice. For this reason, they were considered very hardy and used for items you wanted to last, such as brooms and axe handles. Historically, Yule logs and maples were made from birch too. And young Druids and bards would wear birch twigs to signify they are still learning. The white stag is thought to be of the other world, representing change or quest. It appears in the mythology of many cultures. They're a fairly common red or fallow deer with the condition leucism, which is similar to albinism. The golden eagle represented wisdom and age, as it was considered one of the oldest of creatures. It holds the 2nd highest place of esteem for the Druids, surpassed only by the cunning wren. Golden eagles are currently being reintroduced to Ireland's western coast after going extinct in the country in the 18th century. And here we have our base frame. After that rather lengthy info dump, I'm sorry. There's just so much really interesting information about this sign. Anyway, now we're moving into the meat of this speed paint. I'm going to start editing the stylized cutouts and making final decisions on placement. I tend to start this process with the eyes, which always get lost in the filter. But That allows me a lot of freedom when painting. I also edit the hair here, though the ends still look a mess. It's proving one of the harder aspects of this style for me. I also take this time to apply an overlay technique I picked up from xSubsDraws on Instagram that really makes the skin and other elements pop. And then I sketch in the clothes. With the figure all figured out, haha, I'm hilarious, we're moving into what I'm actually trained for. Fashion illustration. And seriously, I took classes on fashion design in college. It's about the only thing I have any academic qualifications for. Everything else is fake it till I make it, or weird knack I stumbled upon while avoiding real work. Anywho, I worked out the first 3 designs at the same time, trying to decide the rules for the series. Oddly, this is the only one of that first session I felt good about. Unfortunately, as I was trying to save the recording of the coloring process, I dropped my phone, hit a button, and it was lost forever. Which in general sucks, but also means you don't get to see me do hundreds of little lines to create the very subtle knit texture. As for rules of the designs, I definitely wanted them all to be Celtic inspired. This manifested as earth tones, iconic elements or pieces, tartan-like sections, no official tartans because that gets complicated real fast, and Celtic knot details. In this design, I decided to adapt a look I've been wanting to use for a while: calf boots and a cropped big sleeve sweater. The first time I saw this one was on a lanky twink, and it's such a look that it's a serious struggle for me not to put it on all the female or twinkie romance leads of my stories. It's so perfect for driving their romantic interests crazy. But that's not what we're going for here. I just felt sturdy boots and a cable knit sweater were classically Celtic, and good for someone who likes to take the lead. At first, she was going to have simple high-waisted pants, but turning it into a waist corset allowed me to add a tartan panel, and I think just waist corsets are cool. I also added tartan at the sweater collar and the boot cuffs. The gold knot design on the pants just felt like good details, and the long glove is just practical for a falconer, which, by the way, is the general term for bird handlers, even though she's working with an eagle. Now the background I was really excited for, because it's where the tree comes in. It's very similar to the background I did for my first photo bash piece, which you can find on Instagram, because I already knew I wanted to start this project. It was pretty simple too. For the grass and canopy, I just layered different shades and hues of green and yellow with the splash on organic brushes. It sounds chaotic, and it is, but there is a bit of logic. In bright spots on the ground, I use lighter, more yellow tones, while the shadowed spots are darker, bluer tones. In the canopy, we have holes surrounded by bright yellows, while shadows are more orange and brown. The trees themselves were scary easy. I just made lines of brown, duplicated them, and made the underlayer off-white. Then I took a textured eraser and erased the brown layer at opposing angles, creating those distinct wedges. I made them different thicknesses and lengths, separating them to different layers to add effects, creating depth. Last thing are all the little details to make everything work. I add highlights, extra shadows where needed, and overlay a blurred version of the image to ramp up contrast and add a softening glow. Last is a barely there glow of white around the figure to help her stand out from her background. Mahalo for watching. I hope you had fun because I did. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment with any questions you may have. If you want to see what's up between videos, then follow my Instagram, Storycraft Studio. I'm really looking forward to this series, and I hope to see you in the next video. Aloha!